As a woman professional or business owner, you are pulled in every direction. 1 minute you're planning your marketing calendar, another juggling sales and client services. And there is a family to take care of and the kids to do the homework with. At the end of the day, you have very little time to devote to your finances. Hi, I'm Jana Bernas, Financial Security Advisor, helping women driven, smart, ambitious, but seeming not able to keep money in their pockets. I show them how to overcome financial challenges, increase cash flow, save enough to support desired lifestyle, and invest wisely to achieve comfortable retirement. Women have come a long way when we're speaking about our roles in society and family. We never felt so empowered as we do today. According to Business Development Canada report, the number of women professionals and entrepreneurs have quadrupled for the past 40 years. Yet, we don't feel prepared financially. There are some specific characteristics and challenges we face and that should be addressed when planning financially. Generally speaking, women earn less, take career breaks for caregiving, save less, and live longer. In this short 16-minute video, I will show you some tools that we use when we're working with our client on how to improve cash flow, a very important component of financial freedom formula. And once you understand and master cash flow, you are on your way to your financial success. Here are the 3 financial tools that we will discuss today. Reducing expenses in an efficient way, building a painless budget, and decreasing the debts by using one of the 3 methods: snowball, avalanche, or cash flow index. I'm giving you these tools and asking nothing but your attention. There is 100% pitch free, and the only thing I want you to do is to sit back and enjoy the free training. And if you stayed with me until the end, I have another free offer for you. So let's get into it. There is a lot to cover.
Tool number 1, reducing expenses in an efficient way. In order to be able to save the desired 10, 15, 20%, you need a positive cash flow. Simply put, spend less than you earn. This is a stepping stone to achieve your financial goals. If it is pretty easy to know where your income comes from, oftentimes it's unlikely for people to fully understand where their monthly cash flow is going, why, and how much money they are spending. So the first step is to take a cold, hard look at your current cash flow situation. Get your credit card, debit card statements, bills, any documents pertaining to your expenses. Note where and how much you spend. To understand why, we will touch a bit the psychology of excessive spending. We think of money as numbers, values, and amounts, but when it comes down to it, when we actually use our money, we engage our hearts more than our heads. The most important emotions in relation to money are fear, guilt, shame, and envy. It's worth spending some effort to become aware of these emotions, because without awareness, they will tend to override rational thinking. There are many factors that could cause you to overspend, including social pressure, using a credit card as an abstract money, present biases. We enjoy spending money because it makes us feel of being in control. According to the study in the Journal of Consumer Psychology, consumers typically shop while being sad, an emotion strongly linked to the feeling of lack of control. Researchers found that making purchases, also known as retail therapy, not only reduced feelings of sadness, but also restored a sense of personal control. Another reason we spend money pertains to our competitive nature, keeping up with Joneses. This competition can drive us straight into debt if we simply compare things rather than financial situations, if we value objects more than people. So what shall we do to stop overspending? Before we talk about the strategies, I want to point out that without a fundamental change in conscience, none of the strategies will work long term. Therefore, the first step is solving the root cause of overspending. Understand your spending trigger and fix the root. Take the personal control in a different way, more productive and less damaging. The second step is improving your cash flow and starting saving. Point number 1, let's redefine the process of saving. As Warren Buffett suggests, don't save after spending, spend after saving. So put away 10, 15, 20% of your earnings automatically before you even see them and spend the rest of it. You will manage, trust me. Make the savings your priority. Point number 2, make your spending more conscious. Divide expenses into 2 categories where needs are the fixed expenses, and usually we have a low emotional risk attached to these expenses. And the wants are the discretionary expenses, the high emotional risk expenses. Make your needs automated and wants paid in cash. You know why? Because psychologically, the cash is real money, and we tend to be more conscious about that. Assign a spending amount and do not go over the limit. Point number 3, look at the areas where you can reduce expenses. Of course, your discretionary expenses. Look at your insurance contracts and see if you can improve cash flow by increasing the deductibles. Look at the duplicated policies, eliminate expenses and necessary riders on the policies. Look at the fees and monthly plans at your banking, utilities, phone services. See if you can reduce your taxes. Reduce and eliminate debt. Tool number 2, building a painless budget. There is a simple technique called 50-30-20 rule that works by breaking your expenses into 3 key categories. 20% of your after-tax income goes towards your savings and debt repayment. And you remember, we said that you should take care of that part first. Then you allocate 50% to your needs, fixed expenses. And we said you should make them automated. And lastly, you allocate 30% to your wants, discretionary expenses, and you will pay them in cash. Create a new and improved budget and stick to it. To help you with the process, you might want to use one of the budgeting apps. The ones we can recommend is Mint, You Need a Budget, or NerdWallet. Use the one that suits you best. If you feel more comfortable with Excel, list your expenses in these 3 key categories and calculate the balance. I want to quickly show you a software budget planner provided by the Government of Canada. It's a simple tool and easy to navigate. To receive personalized tips, you will be asked to enter some information that best reflect your situation. Enter the income, savings, and expenses, and the software will calculate the balance. The goal is to have the positive cash flow so that you could achieve your financial goal. Tool number 3, eliminating overwhelming debt by using one of the 3 methods, snowball, avalanche, or cash flow index. First, let's define the liability and debt. And I like Garrett Genderson's approach to this topic. He says, while it's true that debt should be avoided, it is a complete misconception that all forms of borrowing, all forms of liability are debt in business sense. The liability is a part of life and used wisely will increase prosperity. There is a big difference between productive, consumptive, and destructive liability. Productive liability is when you buy assets of value, investments, business, rental property. Normally, these assets will produce positive cash flow and will have tax advantages. Consumptive liabilities are the liabilities that do not produce a positive cash flow. They are liabilities that incur an expense only without a corresponding income from the acquired asset. There are no tax advantages attached to consumptive liabilities. And the destructive liabilities include activities like gambling and addictions. Debt is having liability of greater value than asset. And by debt, we usually mean the consumer debt, the credit cards, the loans, etc. This type of debt we want to avoid. So how much debt is too much? To understand if you're carrying a reasonable amount of debt, we will use the term debt-to-income ratio. It compares your monthly debt payments to your monthly gross income. It shows creditor how good or bad your financial health is, as well as your ability to manage your payments. To determine your debt-to-income ratio, first add up all your monthly debt payments. This includes your mortgage or rent, car loan payments, minimum payments for your card credits, student loans, etc. Then divide your monthly debt payment by your gross monthly income. Convert the figure into percentage, and this is your debt-to-income ratio. A general rule of thumb is if your debt is 20% or less, you are in great financial shape. In the range of 20 to 40%, you will be able to get credit. Above 40%, you are in danger zone and represent too much risk to financial institution. Bear in mind that banks traditionally have low tolerance for risk. Most financial institutions in Canada will not lend you money if you're already using over 40% of your monthly income to pay your current debt. Do this exercise and see where you stand. And if you feel uncomfortable carrying this debt loan, let's choose the right strategy to improve your situation. A good tool would be a debt repayment software, and you can find it online. For demonstration purposes, I will use ours. Step number 1 is to list all your debts. Take out your statements and all the documents related to your debt. What is the borrowing limit? What is your current balance? What is the minimum payment? What is the interest rate? Plug all the numbers in the spreadsheet and analyze them. Step number 2 is to choose the right strategy. Now we will have to choose one of the 3 methods of repayment that suits you best. The first method is snowball, where you will pay off the debt with the smallest balance first. Pay the minimum monthly payments to all of your debts. Then devote any leftover money to the debt with the smallest balance. Once the debt is paid off, devote its previous monthly payments and leftover money to the next smallest balance debt, and so on until all the debt is paid off. The second method is avalanche, where you pay the debt with the highest interest rate first. Same procedure as with snowball, but you start by paying off the highest interest rate debt first. Then you work your way through to the lowest interest rate debt on your list. The third method is cash flow index, where first you will pay off the debt, which frees up more cash flow. First, let's calculate the cash flow index. To do so, we will divide the balance of the loan by the minimum payment, and this will be your cash flow index. It could be somewhere between 10 and 150. Sometimes even more. The loan with the lower cash flow index should be paid up first because it will free up more cash flow. And honestly, it's considered a toxic loan. With this approach, we do not look as much at the interest rate, neither at the loan balance as at the cash flow index. Step number 3 is to review the schedule and see when you will finish paying off your debts. So do your numbers. See what suits you best from the logical and the emotional point of view. Some might feel more motivated when they see the first credit card debt closed, no matter how small it was. Others will be motivated by the dollar amount that went down. Everyone is different. The idea is to stick to the plan, stay motivated, and get rid of debt. There are a few other strategies to improve cash flow. 2 of my favorites are consolidation of debt at the lower rate and cash flow banking with whole life insurance. Both are effective, but a little bit more complex, and I believe it will be misleading to discuss them without context of financial situation.
So that's it. We briefly discussed how to decrease debt and build positive cash flow. Did it resonate with you? And do you remember the free offer I was talking about at the beginning of the video? If this presentation did resonate with you, I would like to invite you to continue and book a free strategy session with me. You will receive a 45-minute in-depth financial analysis and clarity on building positive cash flow. In full disclosure, if at the end of the session we feel that we are a good fit, I will extend my offer to continue working together. But I will only make that offer when the strategy session is over and if I feel that I can bring you the results. I know that the difference between being stuck and finding a success is implementation. And when it comes to implementation, you can do it alone and hope that you're doing everything right, or you can refine and validate your ideas with the financial security advisor. So why do it alone? And look, if you have made it this far, go ahead and book this strategy session with me. It might be just the exact thing you need. Hope to see you on the other side.